Well, Highway 1 is a crucial transportation corridor for the Lower Mainland, but it's also one of the most congested. The province of BC is currently carrying out a project to widen the highway through Langley. Until further notice, there is overnight work bringing both eastbound and westbound directions down to one lane. For more on this, I am joined by the CEO of the Greater Langley Chamber of Commerce, Corey Redicott. Hello, Corey.
Hi, Belle. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. We're not in traffic, so that's probably a good thing.
Not yet, at least. Yep.
And you are out in Langley. In the past, you've referred to it as a bit of a nightmare. How bad do you feel that the situation has become?
Well, your traffic just said there's a eastbound. I think it was eastbound accident at 264th. So that's going to be a grind for anyone trying to get through Langley and into the valley there. I mean, that's the challenge, is that it's not just, oh, isn't this an irritant once in a while? It's every day that we've just have to, people in the valley and in Langley just have to build into their daily commute that you're not going to be able to get to parts of our region without it taking a heck of a long time. So it's a nightmare. It is zapping the energy out of our workers. It is slowing down the movement of goods and services. And it's a project that can't be done fast enough. So yeah, no one loves seeing lanes closed like the ones we're seeing overnight. But if that means we can get this project moving forward, then let's get the lights on and let's get the shovels going, because we need this project yesterday, and we're still years away.
And it's not just the project, though, that's causing issues. There are other major issues causing these headaches for people on the road?
I think it's just the matter of in Langley, we are the fastest growing community in the region and the second in the province now, and we haven't had the infrastructure to meet that. So we're every day we're having more and more people move to Langley and south of the Fraser, and that means every day we're falling further and further behind on infrastructure. So I mean, 90,000 vehicles are going through Highway 1 in our community every day, but every day that congestion is grinding that to a halt. So it's not the construction that's causing the problems. It's just a matter of trying to move that many people and goods and services through in some cases, the same two lanes that have been there for decades. So we're starting to see action on this, and we're really excited to see movement finally on Highway 1 expansion through to 264th and then 264th onwards. And our message has always been, nothing gets faster, easier, or cheaper by waiting. So government, let's find a way of doing this now, doing it faster, so that we're not waiting until 2029. Maybe we can speed that up, because with every day we're falling further behind.
What do you hear from local businesses about the impact of this?
Well, I think it's on all fronts. I mean, if you can picture it, if you're a worker, I mean, the amount of time that you have to build into your day to get to and from work, that's time that you could have spent sleeping better, taking better care of yourself in the morning, seeing your kids at night. That's going to take a grind on how productive you are as an employee. I talked to my businesses. I mean, I was a roofer or a plumber. We have lots of members in those space. Just imagine what happens if a plumber can do 6 jobs in a day, and now because of the congestion can only do 5. Well, what do you think happens to the price of those 5 jobs? They're going to go up in price. We're talking about inflation and the cost of living, and we're all wondering, how do we solve that? This is how you solve that. I mean, there was a trucking company who was telling me how they're taking their drivers now are taking an extra day to get their goods to market. I mean, so what do you think happens to the cost of everything in that truck, whether it's a widget or a coffee mug or a tortilla? It doesn't matter. Everything's going to cost more, because now you're having to pay the driver an extra day because he spent so long sitting in traffic that he can't make it to his destination in one shift. So that's the problem, that it's sapping energy and initiative and money out of our economy by slowing everything down.
How much have you been in communication with the province during this process?
We've been all over them. The project team, to their credit, they meet with us here at the Langley Chamber regularly. Every couple of months, we have an update from them. We do sit downs, kind of see where the project is. Obviously, this project isn't. We're years later than we should have been. So we're never going to be pleased with the timelines, but we are getting updates on how things are moving, where they're going, and we're giving them feedback on what we want to see. We don't always get what we want, but sometimes we're able to move the needle to be a bit better of a project. But so the project team is communicating with us as a business community, and really it's just a matter of getting shovels in the ground. And then for the eastern portions, I mean, we don't yet have funding for the section from Highway, I think it's 3B that they're calling it, the section from Mount Lehman out to Mission, and then so that's not funded, and it's not even planned to go out to Chilliwack. So I mean, if we're eyes wide open, all we're really doing is pushing the bottlenecks further and further east. So those are the pieces that I'd love to see us figuring out. Well, how do we get this done? And can we do it in a way that we're not waiting another 5, 10, 15 years to solve this problem? We know where the growth is going to be in the region. It's not a surprise where everybody's moving and where all the economic activity is. So how about for once we build for the growth that we know is coming, as opposed to kind of being dragged kicking and screaming to only catch up years later?
Well, that's what I was just wondering. Are these upgrades going to be enough when they're done? What changes would you like to see as well?
Yeah, I mean, it'll help. We would have liked to have seen. We were advocating for a net new traffic lane. Now, I know you're going to have readers in your comment section freaking out about induced demand. I will have that fight every day when you have 90,000 vehicles trying to use the highway. The demand's been induced. But yeah, so I mean, I think there's in sections we're getting an HOV lane, so that's a new lane sort of, and we're getting a truck climbing lane so that our truck community can kind of, when they're going up inclines, they can get over to their own lane. So that's a kind of a net new lane as well. So those things will help, and we'll be able to get bus service. I think that's the main thing. Here in Langley, I've got 15,000 employees and a few hundred businesses out in Gloucester, which is kind of 264th. They can't get transit there. There's no transit for a country mile in any direction, and there never will be until that overpass is done. TransLink's been clear about that. Even if they found all the money that they're looking for, there'll never be transit up to that area until we can solve the highway problem. So we need the improvements are going to help. They will be able to finally get transit to East Langley. It will be able to open up the Highway 1 to HOV lanes and the bus route, because who's gonna go through the effort of carpooling or taking the bus if you're sitting in the same traffic that everybody else is? So these things will help. It would have been nice to get the extra lane in there, so we have kind of capacity we know we're going to need in 2030, so that we're not again playing catch up then. But at this point, I think many of us will take whatever we can get, and just get those shovels in the ground.
Well, it's interesting hearing from people, in evenings and nighttime and late night, particularly if you're going to and from Abbotsford or anywhere in the Fraser Valley, anywhere eastbound, it's usually easy. But now I'm hearing from people, because of the lane closures, what should take 20 minutes, half an hour is taking 2 or 3 times as long. But yeah, I guess it's just very simple. No pain, no gain.
It's a tough one. I mean, that was some of the, I mean, I got caught in that. I had a meeting out in Abbotsford until 8 or 9, and I was wondering why in the world was it taking me so long to get back to Langley, and it was because the lane was closed down. So I've been in that. I feel it. I mean, we need to get it done. So a little bit we have to grit and bear it.
Right.
But I think that's the challenge. Even at 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock at night, with even just with one lane that goes down, suddenly the highway is no longer functional. So that should tell anyone in government or anyone who doubts the need for this, just how critical this highway is. I mean, it is tying the entire region. We've got 500,000 in the Fraser Valley, 600,000 in Surrey. You can't put that through and with any seriousness on 2 lanes each way. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. So it is critical, and yeah, it's going to be a bit of a pain. And we had the Glover Road overpass closed for a year. That was a pain. But if we're going to have this pain and we're going to have these challenges, let's at least make sure we get something good at the end of it, right?
Well, hopefully it is done soon and there are positive changes. Thank you, Corey.
Anytime. Take care.